What is up, everybody? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Let's get started.
Competent police department in the country, and then a month later, hailed as geniuses.
What is up? What is up? Good evening. Got a double feature for you guys.
There's so much in this case that we don't know. Just a month ago, we were saying that the Moscow Police Department was the most incompetent police department in the country, and then a month later, hailed as geniuses. Let's let the process work.
I guess
I'm complaining about any conflict.
I was taking Mom at her word. I'm so sorry we didn't get more time with you. Thanks for joining us more on Ashley Banfield. Thank you for watching.
You guys remember that, right? Oh, that's right. When people don't fit your agenda, your narrative, they are silenced. Xana's mom, you know, she did. I love the woman. I know that she struggles, but she really wasn't honest with mainstream media there. But welcome. There's the link. I dropped it for you guys. Ann Taylor and backseat Bill Thompson agreed to pushing the preliminary hearing to a date in late June, as we all remember, right? June of 2023. The preliminary hearing. But remember, during January of 2023 to May of 2023, Ann Taylor was pleading with backseat Bill Thompson and Judge to get their hands on the discovery that actually mattered in this case, the discovery that law enforcement investigators used to focus and build the case against Brian Koberger. Remember? I think Ann Taylor's now on her 22nd. Supplemental request, 22nd. Ann Taylor is no stranger, though, to law enforcement corruption or law enforcement's inability to investigate without tunnel vision or sloppy, loose-ended work product. So much so that she immediately went out to the crime scene and hired experts as well as private investigators. So, for example, December 9th, 2022, 1122 King Road.
Less than an hour ago, we were here, and about 5 plainclothes investigators, we don't know if they're local, state, federal, they were inside, and we saw a lot of activity inside the home, and the home was lit up. So we were able to peek in some of the windows, but we saw those men inside the home in the 2 particular rooms where the murders took place. We did not see them leaving with any materials. I asked them a couple of times, why are they back? They did not answer me. They pulled away in 2 vehicles. One had a Washington state plate. The other had an Idaho plate. But that is all we can tell you. But we did see a lot of activity. This house was lit up for nearly an hour. They were inside. We don't know why. Nothing seemed to be removed. But as you know, Ashley, yesterday, a lot of the kids' belongings were removed by Moscow police to be returned to their families.
So I'm just watching these guys as they're walking by you. Were you asking them questions, and were they effectively just ignoring you? Did they say hello? Did they say anything at all?
Not a peep. And I asked them specifically, why are you here tonight? Why are you here tonight? They did not acknowledge me. So certainly they were on a mission, and they left without saying a word.
So, Nancy, I just want to point out the video that we're seeing right now. Let's blow this up full because, and let's replay that if we can too. This is the investigators walking out of the kitchen area into a hallway and then walking towards the living room. So there they are. It looks like they're emerging from the kitchen area, walking towards the front of the house. That grassy sign that's on the wall right there, that's the good vibes sign. There's actually 2 of those.
Yeah.
So December 7th, remember, the public hears about the White Launch of 2011-2013. December 9th, active crime scene invasion with the Cowboys. But why does any... I wanted to read that all the way for you guys. Sorry. So again, that was December 9th, the active crime scene invasion with the Cowboys. But why does anyone need to go into that home 25 days later? You know, there were 4,000 crime scene photos taken with measurements, right?
Maybe an FBI field office from the Idaho area. But did you ask if in the game, it just screams FBI to me, and maybe an FBI field office that's partially from Washington, maybe an FBI field office from the Idaho area. But did you ask if they were from FBI or what jurisdiction? And they just said, you know.
I would agree with Ashley here. It screams FBI to her. Based on what we found out, like to this point, guys, we would be fucking idiots if we didn't say that this was the FBI. Okay. Cowboy hats or not, what do you think they're going to go out there? They know that media's out there. But what the FBI was doing, yada, yada, yada. Do we think though that this could ever possibly come up? Like, for example, the O.J. Simpson trial. Okay. The O.J. Simpson trial used video from the media. So, I mean, could this ever come up and be like, what are these people, what are they doing in there? Right? Could this ever come up? Could this ever be like a problem, an issue? I don't know. All I do know is that they clearly didn't go in there to take, you know, prom pictures. Like, what are they doing? They went in there for a purpose, some type of a purpose. And you would think that, you know, remember, this is Moscow Police Department's case. It was always Moscow Police Department's case. You know, who's going in, what time they go in, what time they come out, like a report. So, I mean, do you think that Ann Taylor and Jay and Elisa, they were just like, hey, like, we shouldn't ask about this? Or do you think they're like, we need to find out what the heck they're like, what the heck is all of this?
Nothing to see here?
Yeah, they would not. They would give me
Nothing
nothing.
to see
and
here.
I did call Moscow police. No answer, no response. So no explanation for any of this. But they were.
Okay. So then I want to go back to, before I'm going to use Hector here, and we're going to do the official red line. And then anybody that submitted it to this point, let's talk about those dates again. Dylan Mortensen, 12:30. But before that, Dylan Mortensen was interviewed on 11/17 and 12/1. Okay. 12/1. And so okay. So I said to myself, wow, 12/1. I wonder what the, 11, they said 11/17, 12/1, they say 12/30. And I'm telling you, 11/13 is one of those days as well. Right? But hold on, just want to be very specific when I say this. Okay, so the state uses 11/17 and 12/1 as exhibits for basically Ann Taylor's 12/30. She talks about the 12/30 as a defense exhibit, and then the state, Ashley Jennings, is like, okay, well, we're going to use 11/17 and we're going to use 12/1 as exhibits for us. And it says interview with Dylan Mortensen. I'm just curious if it was the report that they provided, if it was a recording, if it was a video. So was it audio? Was it video? Was it a report? Because Ashley Jennings is very, it doesn't say if it's audio. It doesn't say if it's video. It doesn't say if it's a report. It just says interview.
We're clearly inside on a mission.
I mean, 25 days of processing a crime scene, to me, it's something I haven't really seen, unless it's, you know, a massive school shooting. That could take 25 days because there's just so many victims and so much territory and so many markings. This one is a really unusual complexity. I can only think it's because there's just so many samples in that house over the years and over the times that the kids have been there that they just, I'm still shocked they only have 113 pieces of evidence. Nancy, thank you for getting that video and for being the eagle eye and spotting that. Really do appreciate it.
For me, I think that when you say that they only have 113 pieces, I think they only tested 113 items, or they have 113 samples. But to say that they only have 113 pieces, I don't think that that's the case, if that makes sense. You know, we always heard 103, then it became 113. And that's what they said that they sent to the lab. So that would just be what they sent to the lab.
Thanks so much.
And
if we believe them, right?
And we should point out that a lot of the forensic evidence went to the state lab, and that is still being tested. You know, the blood is the blood mixed DNA, is the killer's DNA being tested. So there's a lot of information and evidence that's being tested now. And the Moscow Police Department that, you know, we're not releasing a lot of information because we're protecting the integrity of the investigation, a term we keep hearing.
And we are looking at a Frank's hearing. That's how much the integrity was protected. That, whoo, daddy. Frank's hearing's hard to get.
So a lot of
understandable.
The Frank's hearing is about, you know, you're alleging that police lied in their PCA, right? But the law enforcement, they said they were building their case, one without any notes, memos, work product, right? But they're building this case, but just no reports, but they're just building a case. Now, let me show you my case, the one that I built with the common sense logic and the documents that we have all been given to include all of the sources and info that has been published to date. And at the time that I made this and then respliced it up, so it was like October of 2023. So back when I made this in October of 2023, I said, first, Brian's cell phone number, remember? Why and how did he get a Washington number when he got a new phone in June, allegedly in Pennsylvania? So before he left for Washington, you know, why not keep the same number? I can see, you know, a new phone, but, you know, a new account. And then he made it a Washington, you know, number, but he got it in Pennsylvania. Are we sure the PCA phone for quote unquote Brian isn't a work issued phone? You know, according to the PCA, they only quote unquote searched that number because that is what he gave to law enforcement on a traffic stop. You know, couldn't Brian have more than one phone, especially if one was a work phone? So these are all things back in the day. Now, but is that a chronological order of how they went about this case? Cindy says, I want to see body cam of the sheath when it was found. I think everybody's with you there. Everybody's with you. Oh, let's see. So 11:13, the crime. 11:14, they're canvassing and they're interviewing people. They're at the crime scene. You know, they're in shock. They're taking evidence to the ISP lab. You know, 11:15, still no search warrants were issued. 11/16, 2022, first press conference and first search warrant, Facebook. All right, guys, welcome to the transparency. The PCA that we have known and can probably recite inside and out, yes, are things in there, events that took place? Absolutely. But is that a chronological order of how they went about this case? Absolutely not. There you go. So I made this video October 16th, 2023. and I said that there is no way in hell this is a chronological order of events. And in fact, today I'm putting out the PCA and the way that they actually went about finding Brian Kohlberger and being able to work backwards once given a name. So between 1120 and 1124, Brian Kohlberger's name was given by whoever allegedly did this IgG work. If that was what I was estimating, was that I believe that they had his name as early as between 1120 and 1124. I know that they had it no later than 1128. If there was any work ever done, if they just went ahead and said there was work done and they were going to hide behind that, and then, just go ahead and say, here, this is the person, by submitting a tip, by just saying, look into this person, we did IgG on it, but you can't talk about it, blah, blah, blah. And that is so evident if you pay attention to search warrants that were performed between 1116 and 1123. Once 1125 hits, the day after Thanksgiving, the investigation moves and is done in a completely different fashion. All right, so let's take a look. Here it is. Brian Kohlberger's name is given up by the tip, and then they decide, okay, obviously we're going to go ahead and Google this name. What's about him? Okay, he goes, he's a PhD student at, obviously Washington. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, all right, so this is where we're going to change it up. So it's 2025, so October of 2023, I put this out there. I didn't have anything other than what was public. So here, with that said, after all that we've done, ready, set, share screen, window, there we go. Let me see. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. In order to arrest Brian, people do arrests all the time. Whoever submitted the closest red line gets $50 tonight. So here I'm using a Sharpie. Oh, I'm probably gonna have to use. Actually, I'll do black because it's gonna bleed through. I said I would do it live. That way, cannot cheat. Okay. Stop lying, baby. Love it. All right. So here we go. Boop, boop. Let me make this clear. Give a shout out to the mods in chat. Thank you. Oh, you know what I can do? Okay, so the below information is provided by Brett Payne. Right here it says the below information is provided by Brett Payne. Remember how Brett Payne said it was group think? Well, that's not what that says, does it? So the below information is provided by Brett Payne. How are you going to really say that? So I'm putting an X through that right off the rip. So if you guys were making one, first of all, that's not true. The below information is provided by Brett Payne is not provided by Brett Payne. It is provided by a bunch of motherfucking people, right? So cross that out. Stop lying. I love that. Next up, so he's qualified and acting police officer. Brett Payne is employed by Moscow Police Department in the official capacity and has been a trained and qualified police officer for approximately 4 years. This was written in 2022. See how he doesn't meet the hearsay exception. You have to be a police officer for 5 with some type of, that's why he couldn't testify at the grand jury, from my understanding. You definitely have to qualified now. Payne is being assisted by members of the Idaho State Police and agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So it's like, okay, well, wasn't he being honest when he said this part right here? That so if Payne is being assisted by members of the Idaho State Police and agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, it's like, this is where Ashley Jennings is like, we told you, it says who's helping him. Like, what do you mean? So I said, you know what? You're right. So Brett Payne is authoring it, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll reinsert this, right? But where does it say in here? So Brett Payne is employed by Moscow Police Department and so is being assisted by members of the Idaho State Police and agents of the federal. Where does it say that he's being assisted by MPD? Why leave out MPD? Crazy, huh? So, okay. But now since you're writing that you've been assisted by Federal Bureau of Investigation, I think this could be viewed as a double-edged sword which would be, okay, well, why weren't the feds, or why aren't you admitting that the feds were having and were doing X, Y, and Z when they were getting the information that they were getting and how early on they had it? Why is MPD just finding out about Brian Koberger's name December 19th when the feds knew about Brian like way earlier? So in order to arrest Brian Koberger, what wouldn't matter on November 13th, or what is a lie? That's what we're redlining. On November 13th at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 112 King Road to assist with the scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. MPD Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. Okay. So Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence to the bottom floor on North Building. Okay. And then I walked upstairs to the second floor. Okay. Directed me to the down hallway to the west bedroom of the west. Okay. And later I learned that Xana's, okay, that's her room. And right here, just before the room, there was a bathroom. I always wondered what this was all about. And now I know, based off of what Ashley Jennings said and what Ann Taylor said, that the bathroom and, Xana's bedroom, they're all right next to each other. So, it's all the same. If Dylan said somebody was crying in the bathroom, it's the bedroom. It's all the same. Like, it's like not a big deal. So, but like, what? Okay. As I approached the room, I could see a body later identified as Xana laying on the floor. She was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by a edge weapon. Also in the room was a male later identified as Ethan. I then followed Officer Smith back upstairs. I later learned from review of Noon's body camera, there was a dog in the room when Moscow Police Department officers initially responded. Now, clearly this is important to them, because why would you even mention this if you're going to arrest Brian? Like, why is this even important? Does saying this, if this was omitted, would you still be able to obtain Brian's arrest? Saying where the dog was located on a body cam. So I thought about that for a while. And I'm like, well, like, what is the significance in that? The dog barking. The dog barking. Like we, have a dog barking and we want to put it inside that home, right? The dog belonged to Kaylee and her ex-boyfriend, Jack. I found out from my interview with Jack on November 13th that he and Kaylee shared the dog. So you're going to sit here and tell me that that's the first time that you heard that versus, asking Bethany or Dylan, like, whose dog is this? Is it your dog? No, it's Kaylee's. Kaylee's and Jack's. Like, so the first person that you heard, Payne heard this from, was from Jack. It's interesting. So does that lead you to believe that possibly Payne was one of the first people to interview Jack? Like one of his first interviews? Because I would think that you would find that out from, but then again, he doesn't get there till 4. Anyways, have to ask yourself though is, what does who the dog belonged to? What would that have in arresting Brian? So once you just say that the dog was there, if you just stop right there, right? Does this help you arrest Brian? Like the dog belonged to Kaylee and her boyfriend, Jack. I found out from my interview with Jack DeCourt on November 13th that he and Kaylee shared the dog. Again, why does that matter to arrest Brian? Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the 3rd floor. Pointed it out for what purpose? Like, I don't think that it would matter to anybody that you would be arresting. Just think about it. Then I thought about it and I said, remember, this was a working piece. Okay, remember, so this is a working piece. So if you think about it, they were building this piece to be able to get search warrants, right? So don't you think Jack DeCourt would have been probably, the reason that this would have been relevant is about Jack? Like, what is this needed to, once you say there, if you want to make sure they can have the dog barking, so we're going to put the dog in there because we have him on the body cam, all those things. Okay, but what does this have anything to do with? So we're going to redline. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the 3rd floor. This bathroom shared a wall with Maddie Mogan's, Heron Mogan bedroom, which was situated on the southwest corner of the 3rd floor. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in the single bed in the room. This is where I got that it was a single bed when people were back in the day talking about, why do you think it's so small? Well, it says a single bed. What's a single bed? It wasn't a double. It wasn't a twin. It says single bed. Oh, it just means it was just one bed. Well, I'm going to go with it. It was a single bed. It was a really small room. Both Maddie, so you gotta give props right there. So Mr. Gonsalves, he was right? So both Maddie and Kaylee found they were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side. The sheath was later processed and had blah, blah, blah. Okay. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA. Okay. Let's say later noticed. So we know when that was. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police, FBI. Okay. 2 of the interviews included BF and DM. Both BF and DM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides and were roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor of the King Road residence. So if you're following along, we have page 2 is redlined for 1 sentence. Next, based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD, FBI, ISP agents, as well as my interview or review of evidence, I have learned the following. So my next question is to anybody that's out there is when someone says that they learned something, can you consider them having then personal knowledge? Does that consist of personal knowledge? I don't know. I'm asking the question. What do you guys think? I learned. Is that considered personal knowledge? On the evening of November 12, 2022, Chapin and Xana are seen by BF at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus. Okay, so I have a question. Okay. I guess since it's just like a working document, they just decided to just leave that in there because, again, this would be able to get, you needed to get a search warrant for what? Sigma Chi shit. So that's why you're putting this in there. Hey, they saw them there. They were there. This is allows us to go into, you know, the Sigma Chi house because of that. Because wouldn't it just be to arrest Brian or anybody for that matter, them being, why would it matter where they were between 9 and 1:45 a.m. as long as somebody is saying that they saw them when they got home? And why does it matter? You know what I mean? Like arresting Brian or arresting anybody. What does this even matter? Like, why can't it just be that, you know, on November 13th, BF estimated that at approximately 1:45, Ethan and Xana returned to the King Road residence. Anybody? What do you guys think? Like what, you know what I mean? If you're just about life, I mean, it's like, what does this have to do with truly anything until you get to right here? So I'm redlining it. I don't believe that this has anything to do with why you would be arresting Brian. Right? No, that's my take. This is not going to get me a search warrant. If I have Bethany saying that on November 13th, BF estimated, so take out the also, estimated that at approximately 1:45 a.m., Chapin and, you know, Xana, they returned to the King Road residence. BF also stated that Chapin did not live in the King Road residence. He was just a guest of Xana's. So, like, she's putting them alive here. And now the question is BF estimated that at approximately this time that they returned home. Now this is the thing is, did you see them? How are you determining that they got home? Are you just, oh, I heard them outside because my bedroom is right there. Like, so is it a see thing? Is it a hear thing? Now picture what Batanti says why Bethany is important, because it's to what she heard, saw. So I'm just curious if Bethany actually saw them versus saying, well, I heard Ethan and Xana come home because I was, you know, in my bedroom and my window, I saw them walk up and then I heard them like they were singing like, what, you know, a song or something. Okay. So again, for me, it's about them being alive. And so I think you can do it with this, right? But if they need to be extra careful, maybe they need to say, well, here, if we added this part, then they're alive all the way up till this point. We know that they're alive. So maybe it's because they have to do that, which tells me that Bethany didn't see them. You understand how my brain's thinking? My brain's like, why would this matter? For the arrest of Brian. This mattered to get search warrants if you searched and got stuff out of Sigma Chi, but other than that, what does it matter? Anyways, so Maddie and Kaylee, they were at a local bar, the Corner Club at 202 North Main Street in Moscow. So again, putting this in, if this wasn't there, are you still able to arrest Brian? Yeah. So you're just going to use the fact that they were just seen on the video footage at where Corner Club? Well, no, because we have them at the Grub truck. So why does any of this matter? Right? Why does any of this matter? Why aren't we just saying right here, which is Kaylee and Maddie can be seen on a video at a local food vendor called the Grub Truck at this time in, downtown Moscow. The Grub Truck, live stream video food truck, the video was captured law enforcement. A private party driver drove them home. Okay. And they got home here. So again, I am going to redline. None of that part matters. Then DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their room or rooms by approximately 4 a.m. I still have to ask this question. Why does any of this matter if you're saying that they're like all home in those first two paragraphs? What does this matter? Exactly, Kate. How is Dylan asleep at 4, but then also wakes up at 4, right? So I thought about it. I'm like, well, what does this really matter? That they're saying that, hey, everybody was home by 2, and they were asleep by 4, or at least in their rooms. This is with the exception of Xana. Okay. Who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m.? Okay. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery person who reported this information. So if we all know that they're home by saying, okay, they're here. So to say DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated that the occupants were, is that a way, because it's important to say that they never left again? I mean, is that what that's for? But again, I don't see how this would lead to somebody's arrest or not their arrest. So, I mean, I'll leave it, but I really want to just redline it. DM said she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM said that she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Kaylee playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which was located on the third floor. So then what I said is all of this right here, bye. This whole page. This is all truth of the matter, sir. Get the fuck out of here. All of that's gone. DM said she looked out her bedroom. Unreliable. Now, can you leave this because you have a timestamp at approximately 4:17 a.m. A security camera located at this time a residence immediately to the north. Yep. Picked up a distorted audio, what sounded like voices or whimpers. I would just say that you can go picked up distorted audio. The dog can be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. It says numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. So think about Ashley Jennings. Like this is why I love looking at this back. So Ashley Jennings is like, what do? We said a dog can be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The way that they write this, they get you to think that, this was just happening at 4:17 a.m. But actually, when you reread it and you see how sneaky they are, a dog can be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. And then Ann Taylor's like, well, you omitted the fact to say that it was barking for 20 to 25 minutes straight. She's like, well, we said it right here. A dog can be seen barking numerous times. Numerous. Starting at 4:17. We never said that it stopped. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Xana's bedroom. DM stated she opened the door. Okay, again, that's all coming out. So out of the 2 pages that we just did, we have it starting at the Twitch video and saying that the girls got home at 1:56, and the first and then the last paragraph. So don't worry, I'm keeping track here. Okay. The combination of DM statements, law enforcement reviews of forensic downloads of records from Bethany and DM, and video of a suspect video is described. Remember I said this back in the day, they leave out, they didn't use the victim's cell phones. And I said, when have you ever heard of a crime that the police don't actually use the victim's cell phone to figure something out? Have you ever heard about that? Think about that. You're always using a victim's cell phone. But here, the combination of DM statements to law enforcement, so you got to take that out, right? Because it's unreliable. Reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phones, which would just tell you that they were awake during those times. Okay. But they're saying it's what they were texting about. All right. Well, then it almost is just like, wait, if you're saying what you're saying, like, okay, you could leave those in for timestamps. Okay. And video of a suspect video is, and then this is when they're like, this is why we believe that this happened here during this time. Without a doubt, the most compelling part of that is Dylan, with you saying that all of this happened when she woke up at 4 and she heard all this shit. Okay, but if that's all unreliable, it's going to come into play is, when was she breaking all of this down? When was she saying, I woke up at this time. I don't know what time it was. I took it out, but I left this in. So review of the forensic downloads of the phones in the video, but we don't have that to know if it in fact would reflect this. But it does say because of also the car. Okay. But now think about this. If you don't have Dylan's statements, then you're truly asking yourselves, okay, you guys got home at what time? What time did everybody go to bed? Okay. So we have between 4 a.m. and 9:01. Do you know what you'd have to be asking those girls? Hey guys, how could you just possibly be sleeping through this? Are you sure that what time did you guys really get home? Like you'd have to wait till you got their phone records back to corroborate that they were in fact like home. But when we see that, like, did they have their phones downloaded right away so that they were able to see, like, here, look at, we were texting, were they showing them screenshots? You know what I mean? It's actually pretty wild. So during the processing of the scene, investigators found a shoe print. Well, I have a feeling that that's not even going to be the size. Take that out because without Dylan's statement, it doesn't matter. Because why wouldn't you put, oh, we had blood on the banister? You know what I mean? It's just wild. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene. So we could just take all that out. As part of the investigation, an intensive search, commonly referred to as law enforcement as a video canvas. This makes sense of when this would be coming next anyways. It was conducted in the area of King Road. This video canvas, I'm sorry, was able to obtain footage from earlier morning hours of November 13th. So it tells you what they did. Okay, great. This video resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance. Perfect. And I have reviewed numerous videos. Well, on the stand, it was interesting because he didn't remember which ones he viewed and whatever. I'll give him that. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block. At approximately 3:26 a.m. westbound on Center Avenue and coming up 95 Moscow, approximately 3:28. On the video, it appeared that suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. Are you kidding me? On which video? Wild, right? Okay. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes. So awesome, great, perfect. Sure. Okay, leave that in. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area 4 times. Sure, sounds good. Does all this. All right. Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence. Awesome. At a high rate of speed. Suspect vehicle 1 is the next observed traveling. Okay. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of the camera footage. Bye-bye. So, because we can't see, you don't know which way then it would be leaving out of there. That's pure speculation. So on page 6, I'm removing the last 3 sentences. Because here you can say that how it says, both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns and people commonly travel back and forth between them. You know, so we you would write that you extended the search to the other campus because people go back and forth. Like those are the only two places that like are like functioning, you know? So, which I think would be fine. But what you would have here then is that you would have been immediately going to WSU to look at cameras when you did the canvassing of the Moscow area, and hey, let's get that road. That's the only way you can get from Moscow to Pullman. Let's see all the entry points and let's look for, you know, white sedans. Okay. And that's where that should kind of be with that because of the travel. But law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to a forensic examiner with the Federal Bureau of Investigations that regularly utilize surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model. Perfect. Awesome. And he came back and he said, after reviewing the numerous footage, okay, great, awesome. He initially believed that the suspect vehicle was, I think it's going to be like this. The forensic examiner believed that the suspect vehicle 1 was 2011, 2013. Period. Upon further review, so, nope, taking that out. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle that is a 2011 to 2013 white Honda Elantra. So I do believe that you would have been looking into people that had that vehicle, but that's assuming that you're giving them the video from Queen Road, which would have been like 1112 King. Like one would always think that this is the video that you gave them so that you can see this vehicle. Well, we come to find out that that's not the camera that was used for this vehicle. It was the one on what, Bishop, or I'm sorry, Ridge. I'll give you that you can look at the Ridge Road one if you have a blurb running around with like your car driving down, and then if the timing is all set up that on that Ridge camera that it would be heading the way that it should be if you're leaving up out of town, like you're claiming to go to WSU. I'll even let you slide with that. Exactly, Mark B. What's the timestamp on the Ridge Road camera? Don't know. Investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University campus, located in Pullman, Washington. A review of that video. Like, what? You know how many cameras are on WSU's camera? Like, what camera? Like, investigators were given access to video footage. Okay, well, what videos, man? There's so many cameras over there. Okay, so we found it here. We have, now this is what is just weird to me, is that if you're trying to locate a vehicle coming back from being in Moscow, right? So you're trying to locate a vehicle coming back from Moscow to Pullman, right? Like, none of this stuff, it's, why are you talking to me about a vehicle that would have originated? Like, shouldn't you find me the vehicle that would be coming back? Oh, hey, look at this at, 4:47, because it leaves up out of Moscow, okay, at 4:20, right? And you're heading, boom, because Blaker's thing says he's heading straight to go to his apartment. Okay, so you're going to get there at what? Let's just say 4:40, 4:45. So we need to be looking for a vehicle, a white vehicle, in this time frame. And guess what, guys? There is none, right? But we do find one. So I don't think that any of this should happen yet. I don't think that any of it should be happening at all about this one right here, because it doesn't, you're not. So I'm crossing this out. We need to go to the first where it mentions the fuck about any of this. None of this matters. That's not how you get it. You have to find the vehicle that you think is coming back, right? So again, right here. This is where you would start then. We found one because it could have pulled off the side of the road, right? And, threw out the knife somewhere, took all the clothes off, buried them, then got back in the car, whatever. But here, this is where it should start. Is that, okay, we found at 5:25 a.m. a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of suspect vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to West Palouse River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with Consagrant Drive. The white sedan was then observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on 270. At approximately 5:27 a.m., white Elantra was observed on cameras traveling northbound on Stadium Way. Great, awesome, all this stuff, right? Boop, 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 perfect. We got that. So we're cooking, okay. Then, this is where it gets interesting. Then the magistrate sitting there thinking, oh, wow, you do a BOLO, right? And you tell these police officers in the area, hey, we're looking for this, right? And then I think that these lovely guys right here find this vehicle, and I'm thinking that this is the order that this is happening, right? But this doesn't happen until December 20th that you even know about this. You could eventually get, well, there's going to be a couple problems here. Let's say you eventually get to this name because you're going through anybody that had an Elantra, okay? But then you find out that he has a 2015 and you're like, shit, that's not a 2011, 2013, right? This is where it becomes a problem. Is that, okay, here's this guy. Let's say that they totally didn't even use IgG, right? Because that's what they're trying to tell everybody. You would have got to this possibly, way down the road in life, right? You just have to go through all these fucking, Elantras, get rid of all the female. I mean, in the 2 areas, it's not that many that were registered on campus. It would not take that long to go through 100 on each campus. I'm sorry, but just would not. So, okay. Let's even just say, fuck it. We're going to deal with any white Honda Elantra. I don't give a shit. But when you would have finally got to this guy's name, right? And then you take his phone and you're saying that he, came right back. And then you actually look at the cast report. Because this is where I think it would stop. But then you look at the cast report that you say that you did, because you did it up against the towers and you put his phone number in and it doesn't hit on the towers, right? And then, okay. Well, then you do this cast stuff and what's this? None of, you would eventually get to this, to know, anything about all this. Great. Awesome. About his phone number. Sweet. Great. Way down the road, if not years. then it just jumps. So it just goes like, we found this dude, but we really didn't find him until this date. And because we only found him because of IGG. So, but then it just goes boom. Investigators believe that Kohlberger is still driving the 2015 white Elantra because it was captured on December 13th, 2022 by a license plate reader. Who gives yeah, and like, do you need this information in here to do what? To arrest him? Nope, this is about how we got the pen, trap, and trace because we couldn't find him. I don't even know. Like this. On December 16, 2022, at approximately 2:16 p.m., surveillance video showed Kohlberger's Elantra. And I mean, what? How did you get this? You guys, this just goes totally, like, this is insanity. This is insanity if you think that you didn't do this without the name and doing IGG through putting the name in the databases. Like, this is, and I'm saying, okay, like, yes, if you started eliminating these white Elantras, okay, and hey, this is the name, see if we've ever arrested them, see if we've ever pulled them over. Okay, great, they gave us their phone number. Great, here's their number. Or let's use these databases that you can get, been verified. Let's start looking at the phone numbers that they have. Let's start looking at the cell towers. That's just going to take manpower, okay? So you would be able to get through the white Elantras in the areas of both of these campuses. And you're going to be putting people on that type of manpower, okay? But this is the thing, is that's why Jay said in the beginning is, when were you guys truly ever looking for a white Elantra? Because you're going to have to eliminate from 4 o'clock in the morning until 11:58 when 911 was called. That's a huge ass gap. Okay. And when they did a cell tower dump and they only asked for the cell towers between 3 and 5, don't you think that's kind of interesting? That on 11/17, when they did their first search warrant on, or was it, no, they did their first search warrant on 11/16 for the towers. Okay, and they just asked from 3 to 5, you guys. Why are you only asking from 3 to 5 for the cell towers? Think about that. We don't know. I mean, the 911 wasn't called. Why aren't we asking for cell towers from, fuck it. People could be in the area before that. Like, okay, so 2 a.m., to noon. Yeah, like, you asked for cell tower dumps from 3 to 5. That's truly absurd. I think so. I mean, I think that's, because I would be, if I'm sitting at a round table with all of you guys, I'd be like, raise my hand. Hey, Chief, I just have a question. I'm trying to learn. We don't really know when this murder happened. Wouldn't we want to go ahead and, I don't know, get those tower dumps from, 2 to like noon? What? I mean, and I would just say, oh, why not? Like, I'm just trying to learn here. Why would you want to limit? Like, because we have a reason to ask for it. These people came home. We don't know what happened, and we don't get to them until, noon. So the killing could have been whatever. Well, do you see those bodies? Do they look like they had just been dead? It's just like, okay, well. Okay, not 3 to 6. Okay, 3 to 5. Aye, Captain. Well, guess what? Then you get to this man, and his number isn't on there. It's not pinging on the cell tower. And then you're able to go to Megan Marshall and say, She's not supposed to know about anything about this IGG stuff, right? You don't mention it anywhere. And you're just saying, hey, everybody shuts their phone off now, Megan. Come on. They're trying to conceal it, okay? We know that. And so, of course, he's not going to be on the cell towers because he shut his phone off. Okay. Well, you have Cass there, right? And so why don't we get some other, I don't know, can we go get some other cell towers and see if he's on the cell towers, in Pullman and or the areas around there or something? I mean, because if he shut off his phone, he wouldn't be on any towers, right? Okay, so investigators believe that Kober is still driving the 2015. I mean, they just jump right into this on page 11. It's just wild if you truly think about it. This is what was right before that. This is WSU's Bolo, and then they say that they found this, but they don't know about it to that. So I'm sorry, but we have to. That was misleading, so it's out. And then you go here, which is no. The license plate, no. So. Okay, so this license plate indicates that Kober is a white male with a height of 6 foot and weighs 185 pounds. Boom, wouldn't matter. Additionally, the photograph of Kober shows that he has bushy eyebrows. According to who? Again, no way is that going to be in there. Dylan would have to say that. Your eyewitness would have to say that they thought that it was bushy eyebrows. That's out. Unless Payne was there that night and he's a witness. Kober's physical description is consistent with the description of the male DM saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. You see how that's gone. So was everybody that she would have saw that night that was inside that house. Hunter Johnson is the same damn, So further investigation includes, so take that out. Then, oh, hey, we were actually able to run that dude's name. We actually gave him a ticket. So we actually got his cell phone number because he gave it to police. So this is how we got his cell phone number. Okay, great. Here it is. We would have also done been verified. We would have gotten numbers on him. When we Googled it and we would have saw he was a PhD student at WSU, we would have been able to probably hire one of our girls to go undercover and hit on Kober and get his number, and you give her, you guys swap numbers out. I mean, there would have been ways that this is what you had been doing eventually if you needed to. So, okay, you got his phone number, but you type it in. And so they want to point out that on October 14th, Brian was detained as part of a traffic stop by WSU police officers. Upon review, this is where Ashley Jennings, in her oral argument, says that you can see his license plate. Well, Ashley Jennings, nobody gives a fuck about the back license plate because that's not up for debate here. It was about the front license plate and that he didn't have one. And neither one of those body cams produced that, unless what Ashley Jennings is talking about is that she's going to say that this pullover, which happened on, in August, if this pullover body cam that we have not seen or dash cam has that, but not what we have. So, but don't you think that would have said that in here? Because it would have gone with the other, further investigating includes here it is. Brian Kober was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow. Okay. At this time, Kober, who was the sole occupant, was driving the Hyundai. It had Pennsylvania plates. Okay. Which was set to expire on this day. During the stop, which was recorded via law enforcement body cam, Kober provided his phone number. But nowhere in here does it say that he didn't have a front license plate. And so I believe that if they would have caught that, that would 100% go on here because that would beef up but it's not. So the purpose of this is to get this. So you would leave that in. Then on October 14th, now why are we talking about him being pulled over here in WSU? Is to show what that he now has. Well, he still has the. I mean, truly, like, why are you even mentioning this one? Just to show that nobody else was ever driving it. That does not mean that nobody else was driving it. But if that's what people are going to say, oh, we put that in there to show that he was a sole occupant again, sole occupant here, but okay, sure. The weight that I would apply to this would be 1% if I was a judge. On November 18, 2022, according to Washington State Light, okay, Colbert registered in 2015, and then later received these plates. Okay, prior to this, he had a white. Okay, boom, boom. So, and then which does not. So he just says he had this, and then this is all speculation, which does not require, but you could also have a front license plate. So, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. Based on my own experience, which you have none, and communication with Washington law enforcement, I know that the Idaho requires front and back license plate to be displayed. Okay. Investigators believe that Colbert is still driving this. Okay, great. You guys, why not just go get his DNA and test it to the STR? Like you're supposed to do. Can we not talk about this? All they had to do was go get his DNA. And then they test it to the sheath. Like, I truly don't get it. I mean, think about this. You're going to sit here and tell me that Brian Koberger, you could not just lift his DNA once you cheated with IgG? Like, you couldn't, because that's what you're supposed to do. That's what these people tell you that they do. Like, okay, hey, you go and you get, and I'm going to tell you guys, they did do it. If you don't think that they tested that shit prior, I believe 100% the FBI tested that before providing that name. They tested it themselves. And I think that's why Jay says, well, I think Mr. Colbert has an interest in the FBI and what they're doing with his DNA after they surreptitiously, go and get it off of whatever. Because if you think the FBI didn't test their own work product to then hand over to the schmucks of Moscow, then we're not thinking properly. So you don't even know of the name Brian Koberger yet. But yet here you're writing in on December 16th at approximately this time, you're able to catch surveillance video. What surveillance video did you know existed? Did you just go around the area and you say, or what'd you, wait, did the FBI pull some of his bank record? I mean, hey, he had a purchase that he did at the CVS. Go over there and see. I mean, what camera was he on? That if you're not watching him, that you don't have surveillance on him, unless you're monitoring his purchases, and it says if you got like bank record. I mean, come on, think about this. Lana, take me. Where are we going? You coming up here on here? Hit the link. I've been inviting people all night. Nobody hit the link. This is insanity. If I was a judge just sitting there and you're reading this to me, I'm like, wait, what? I'm lost. So you have a white car on campus. Yeah, it was circling the house, okay, at this time. All right, we can't make out the car, but it's white. It's a sedan. It's circling a bunch of different times. And then it gets out of Dodge, screeches its wheels, whatever. And I'm telling you, the killer was in that car. The killer was in that car. Okay. We got to use the FBI tools. Let's get them some videos. Let's track down all these. Let's go neighborhood canvassing. Let's see what kind of camera. Oh, we found a car in the 700 block that was a white sedan. How did they make probable cause, you guys? How do you make probable cause off of this? How is Megan Marshall looking at this stuff and is like, wait. This is wild. So wait, let's finish this out. So can you keep this on? No, this would have to go. You would know none of this shit, okay? You would know none of that. That would not be on surveillance for you. The sole occupant of the vehicle, that would not be there. Culver has family in all Pennsylvania to learn through TLO. Okay, awesome. Investigators read that Culver is still driving this because he was seen on an update. Okay, here's a license plate reader. That would be fine. If you ran it to the database, who would run it through the database? You think Moscow Police Department did? Culver's launcher was then queried on December 15th by law enforcement in hand. And you think that this wasn't a directed pullover by the FBI? Fuck out of here. Do you think it at all with those pullovers, they were attempting to see if Brian would panic and like pull a gun, and so then therefore it would be like a shootout? So I believe that the feds did that. So I'm sorry, but that wouldn't even never happen if the feds weren't involved. And if you didn't have IGG, you would have that would have never been in play. I mean, fuck it, this wouldn't have been in play either. Let's be honest. Maybe it would have been in play like, 2 years down the road. What's up? Lana, what's your email? I need to send you something extremely important. Anne needs this info. I love how you guys think that like me and Anne are just like having dates and stuff. Like I really appreciate you guys think that I have that type of game. Let me just get it on over to Anne. Send her down. Have you seen the list of seized property from the search of his parents' home and his car from the FBI? His home? Yes, the FBI, yes, bunch of pennies, right? Way to die. Turning everybody green in here. Scratch it all out. It's all BS, right? Well, if you're Hitler, how do you like sit? Okay, it's just like, hey, honey, I'm going to be working on this fucking, this probable cause affidavit. And just like, they're just connecting random ass shit. And I'm just supposed to believe that it's all the same. Like, I don't understand. Did you guys see the new protective order that was released? It's Brian's medical files. You guys know that, right? Medical records of Brian and his family. Lana. I think they wanted to see his hands. I don't know. Okay, ready? Got another video. There's the link. Okay, so based on information provided on the WSU website, Colbert is currently a PhD student. in criminology at WSU, pursuant to record provided by the members of the interview panel, which I would think that that's interesting that you were able to obtain that for Pullman Police Department. Like, isn't that private? We learned that Culber's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also showed Culber wrote an essay when he applied for an internship. I mean, this is what all people in criminal justice do. Do you know what type of shit we're into? I was a CG major. Like, what? CJ major. Like, what? Like, what do you think he's doing surveys on? Like how turtles feel when they're rubbing up against your leg and you're in the Bahamas? Like, what are you talking about? You guys, if anybody that was involved in true crime, like Richard Allen was when he was watching Dateline, you were going to get picked up by the popo and you are a goner, man. You are a goner. Hey, Bella, what's going on in the Swingers trial? Anything good today?
I didn't watch it today because I'm watching back 3.
You're watching what?
I'm watching it from the beginning. But yeah, I mean.
Any good sex terms I need to learn?
Oh, well, they have a pendant. So if you're a swinger, there's this like pendant and it kind of looks like a V. It looks like this. This is the swingers. Where's the pen?
Here. Make me the Swingers
Right
pendant.
here?
Yeah.
Okay, so like that's the pendant. So it's kind of like that.
Like,
That's like their symbol.
this is their symbol?
Mhm.
This is, if you see this symbol, you means you're a swinger?
Oh, and upside down pineapples.
What?
Yeah. So you know how like some people are like, what is a pineapple? Like, you know what the pineapple means. And it's like, no idea. Well, that's what it means, apparently.
Ah, shit. Upside down pineapples and whatever this is. And yeah. Okay. So, all right. The survey asked for participants to provide information to quote unquote understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime. Okay. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilize cellular towers in close proximity of the King Road. So you would have been to this point, okay? Like, even if I give you all this, yep, you can write all that in there. Awesome, great. Culber's in Albright, Pennsylvania. I think you would learn that right there. Sure. But like this other stuff, like you would have learned this. You would not have known. He would have never been pulled over in Indiana. Okay. You would have never known that he was on surveillance in CVS that he went into. Okay. So I'll give you that. You would know that Culber has family in Albright, Pennsylvania, learned through this. Perfect. Yep. And that, hey, people go home for the winter. That's where he is. Okay. So then we get to the cast or the digital. They pump in the phone because remember they went for 3 to 5 after determining that Culber was associated with that number or was associated to both the 2015 white Elantra and the 4854. And then right here, this is where we have a problem. And this is where any judge would say 2015 year. What does that have to do with Moscow, Idaho? The one on the campus is 2013. Okay. You'd be better off, wouldn't you say, like, we believe that he modified the car. We believe that he put, he covered up, let's say, the Hyundai alum, the emblem, or he covered over like some reflector, like to change it so it could look like something else. That's what you're going to see people writing in probable causes next is, hey, in my training experience, I know that people like to modify their cars when they know they're going to go commit because we're using surveillance cameras. So they're over here, modifying cars with using X, Y, and Z. Can we circle back to the turtle? So like right here, there's a problem because any judge is going to be like, well, I thought the 2013's on the Idaho campus. So him having a 2015, well, it's just a sedan. It's just a sedan, man. Come on. Maybe it's not even a it's just like right there. It's like, it's not the car. And so you're determining that, okay, Culver was associated to both the 2015 white Elantra and that phone number, right? No. And they're like, well, no, we're not talking about Moscow yet. We're saying that we know he has this phone number and we know he has this car. Okay, great. So I'll let that slide. Investigators reviewed these search warrant returns. And so they went ahead and looked. Have you guys ever seen what those search warrant returns look like when you're pulling a warrant? Have you ever seen what the AT&T and the Verizon stuff looks like? Whew. It's a lot of numbers. So, okay, type it in. We found, his phone is not associated with 3 to 5 being on that cell tower. Okay. Now what? Well, based on my training experience and conversations with law enforcement officers specializing, hey, you turn off your phone, man. Okay, so he turns off his phone. Okay. But how about this? Well, can we go and see if he's on the cell towers at WSU between 3 and 5? Because in order to get over there, wouldn't he have come from there? So wouldn't we go and look and say, okay, he's on the cell towers over in WSU? Because I'm just thinking, what if the guy has his phone off from 9 p.m. until 9 a.m.? Right? It's like they don't even go to that next. Say, okay, here, based on my training, they shut your phone off. Okay, great. This is done by a subject. Okay, awesome. So I have to say this to the magistrate because I want something, right? Because guess what? Megan Marshall, it's a working document that Ashley Jennings admitted to, and that Megan Marshall knew that it was a working document. So you know what that means? That means Megan Marshall's like, you need to go get this. If you want to get this, then you're going to have to come back and give me something like this. Isn't that what people say to people all the time? Or is that just like a television thing? If you want that search warrant, you're going to have to come back with, I'm going to need DNA, or I'm going to need the murder weapon, or I'm going to need a nexus here. I'm going to need something. Right? So wouldn't Megan Marshall do that? Or is she just like, just sign your fucking paper. Come on. What's up, DB? Based on my training experience, criminals often do a what? So he writes this in here for what purpose? Well, to obtain the search warrant. On December 23rd, I applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records. Based on what? So now, I'm gonna read you a story. And tell me if you could possibly arrest anybody, right? The below information is provided by Brett Payne, who is a qualified and acting police officer with the County of Latah, State of Idaho. Brett Payne is employed by Moscow Police Department. Payne is being assisted by members of the Idaho State Police and agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. On November 13, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., I arrived at the house at 1122 King, and he describes all of that. Awesome. Then says, I later noticed a sheath. Awesome. Before that, I reviewed Noonan's body cam and there was a dog in the one bedroom. Okay. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted. 2 of the interviews included Bethany and Dylan. Both Bethany and Dylan were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides. But we did not think that they had anything to do with it, so we just left them alone, right? They were inside. And Bethany's bedroom was located on the first floor, and Dylan was on the second floor. Upon a neighborhood canvass, the neighbors provided their camera footage, and at approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road residence immediately to the northwest picked up distorted audio. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 p.m. or a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Xana. After reviews of forensic downloads of records from Bethany and Dylan's phone, and the video of a suspect video is described below, leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. As part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvass, was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvass was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13, 2022. This video canvas resulted in numerous surveillance videos. I have reviewed numerous videos, and so have my colleagues. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter as suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hill Trail or Drive, Hills Drive in Moscow. And that was approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Snyder at 3:27. And approximately 3:28 arriving, where we see a review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood, aka Linda Lane, showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes, going by 1122 King Road and then leaving out 112 to drive. Based off of my experience as a patrol officer in this residential neighborhood with very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the videos in the area, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame. They don't say, and all of those cars are accounted for, and we know everyone who's driving those cars. Instead, it just says, suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering a 4th time, approximately at 4:04 a.m. And it can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping, turning around in front of King, blah, 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 blah. And then we see it flying out of there at 4:20 at a high rate of speed. The vehicle is next observed traveling southbound on Malenta Drive. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to an FBI examiner. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle 1, the forensic examiner from Ridge Road video believed that the suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle that is a 2011 to 2013 white Honda Elantra. Investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State Campus University. At approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of suspect vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and on WSU campus cameras. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at 1300 Johnson Road. The white sedan was later observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to West Palouse River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with Consagna Drive. The white sedan was then observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on State Route 270 at approximately 5:27 a.m. and then takes Stadium Way, Nevada Street, Grimes Way, Stadium Drive, Wilson, Stadium Way, Kruger Way. We showed that video to the same forensic FBI expert, and they said that that vehicle was a 2014 to a 2016 white Honda Elantra, not matching the description of the Moscow Police Department or Moscow, Idaho white sedan. But in my training and experience, people modify their cars. So it could also be a 2000 and just whatever model. A couple months would go by, moving into almost 12 months. When Officer Tenego got moved up to captain, he was still querying away white Honda Elantras and came across, finally, Brian Koberger. We happened to pull him over 2 years prior to. We found his cell phone number, ran it through our database from 3 to 5 a.m., seeing if he had his phone on, and it wasn't on. Or at least it wasn't in the area. But people like to shut their phones off because they're going to commit a crime. So then, oh, and by the way, this Brian Koberger guy, he was in the PhD program. And he came from Pennsylvania. And in Pennsylvania, they're allowed to just have, back license plates. So a couple times he pulled him over. He was the only one in the vehicle. And when he got pulled over one of the times, like I said, he provided his phone number. We pumped that in. It wasn't in the cell towers from 3 to 5. But remember, we know that people like to shut their phones. So then we came and saw Megan Marshall and said, hey, this is a PhD student. He was studying cloud-based forensics. He put out some, what do you call it? He put out some survey. And it was just asking people how, just whack shit on Reddit. Anyways, we thought he was just such a freak that I just said, to hell with this. I'm just going to go lift his DNA and start just inserting people's into CODIS. So, but anyways, I really don't do that. And instead, I hit up Megan Marshall and I said, hey, people usually shut their phones off. Come on, you got to give me a historical, I think I qualify, man. I qualify. I think he shut his phone off. He's super smart. And, I was checking social media with the victims though, and the survivors, and none of them don't even know the guy. They're not following each other on social media. They were never following each other. None of the victims' phones have ever called his number. I mean, who can get search warrants like this? But hey, okay, Megan says, hey, it's okay. I'm going to grant you the search warrant for historical phone records between November 12th, 12 a.m. until November 14th. So I'm going to give you 24 hours before the murder and 24 hours after the murder. Okay. You guys, what could have possibly come back that I'm just like, hey, by the way, on November 23rd, same day, hey, girl, come on. I need full access, man. I got to show that the man was in the area and that I'm telling you, he was stalking these people. He's a serial killer. I'm telling you, he's just a freak. Do you understand how wild this is? The only way you got to him was IGG. Let's be real. And then here's Megan like, okay, like, yeah, sure, I'll get you these. You can have him for, however much time. And then you could try to connect and see within these, since they're like, oh wait, June, you want to go all the way up to June? Yeah, let's go back to when he first got in town here. Okay, so he comes here at the end of June. Okay, so we'll do then. And you want to what do you want to do? You want to wiretap? No, girl, we just want location. Okay, sounds good. And then you get this and you say that you map this bullshit, but then you realize, okay, wait, but we said that he went straight back home, but oh wait, no. This phone, now that we look at cast, it's like all over in these different areas. We got to come up with something else. Like, oh, hey, he did this all big loop. I mean, pretty wild, right? So then we get his phone records, the historical ones. We get all this crazy shit right here. And members of the cast are certified with the FBI. And boy, here we go. Oh, wait, we did like these drive tests, but we didn't go to the crime scene. I mean, but okay. And so none of this is accurate, right? Because Hitler was like, oh, here we go. On November 13th at approximately 2:42 a.m., this phone was utilizing cellular resources that provided coverage to, because you got the phone records. Oh, yep, 2:42. See, so this is the first time that this should ever come up, right? I even think talking about finding like a white sedan at 2:42 and you're talking about it way earlier. I think that's a really weird time. And I always thought that when I read it, the way that it would have flowed, like it should be all right here. So, okay, we see that we're utilizing cellular resources, but you guys, just because it's utilizing cellular resources, like you have like a here, it could be all the way over here, and then it could just like cross over and you're off in like the crap in Idaho. And meanwhile, my apartment's over here because I'm on this way far area, but I'm still in the same tower that in the same coverage area, but I'm on opposite ends of it. Right? No, because Nick Balance is going to say, we have this little thing that goes like this, and it tells us which way you're facing. Blah, blah, blah. Ann Taylor's not going to let him testify to that generic shit, just so you know. She said he could straight up shove his 100-page slide PowerPoint straight up his booty hole. She said, I don't know, he has 100-page slides here, but it doesn't say what what's your opinion here? Where was the car going? Where was the car at this time? Where was the car at that time? You know, what are you going to testify to here at trial? But so, and then poof here at 2:47, at approximately 2:47 a.m., the phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage southeast. So it crosses over with the phone leaving the Kohlberger residence. No, it's actually not leaving the Kohlberger residence, because it could have actually already been over here, right? Because I'm on the same cell tower, right? But he's saying, oh no, but you're here at the house, and then you drove right here, and then that's why you went off the tower by 2:47. No, I could have been right here, and then it like literally been right off the tower, because I was already over this way and going to head this way over to my Hawaii park. So at approximately 2:57, the phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in an area without cellular coverage, the connection to the network disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or that the phone is turned off. The 845 phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48 a.m. And based on Syray, he's saying that this has lots of flaws. Right? Oh, because it gets further. Because then it says, oh, when it comes back on, right? It's by Blaine, Idaho. What? See? I told you guys. Well, what does that even mean, right? It's him. How does that correlate to the, yep, he's the killer? Well, he's out driving. Who would ever be out driving? What do you mean? What if he was sleeping? What if he, if someone says, what's your alibi? Well, I don't know. What are you doing at 3 o'clock in the morning? I was sleeping. I was out driving like I always do. Shit, my weird driving habits, man. I'm telling you, I'm going down for something. I'm like, I get thirsty and I'm like, hey, I'm going to just go through a drive-thru somewhere and I just want a Coke. Lana, you were just circling over there in that area. What were you doing? Oh, I couldn't decide if I wanted literally a McDonald's Coke because I love McDonald's Coke, or if I wanted to go to Wendy's because I like the people that work there and I fuck around with them. But I don't really like their Cokes as much as I like McDonald's. So I probably went to both places. Just killing some time. Excuse me? That's really what I did. You guys don't believe me? Check this out. Check this out. This is pretty funny. Look at this intro. Boston, you know all about it. Let's see. Video. Okay. Oh, yeah, here we go.
You have a call at no expense to you from Joe, an inmate at Adamosa.
Listen, that's me at Wendy's.
Iowa. You must listen to this entire message before entering
of a
selection
murder?
to accept this.
Tell them.
Thank you so much.
No, your change.
I was like, they can just keep it. It's
That
okay.
could bring us good luck today.
Okay. Put this here. Because I need my laptop to be able to. Your thing is on. Yeah, it's recording. So did I not plug it in?
Anyways, that's how crazy I am just to go to like Wendy's doing whack shit. I had to put Wendy's in the video. So much I love Wendy's. Their employees. They now have an automated person though, because I'm like not happy about that, but whatever. So yeah. So like all of this is just like, wow. And then you ask yourself, oh wait, there it is. So then now it's like, okay, now this is this loop-de-loop-de-loop. Like here it goes, right? Oh, wait, here we go. So then it says, yeah, it actually did all of this. And now that car that we said that we thought came from, straight across, it didn't. It did this loop-de-loop. Well, now, isn't that a direct contradiction of what Blaker is saying and what Payne is saying? But they worked on it together. And it was they working. So then it's like here, well, you say this and go get one in Washington. And I'll say this and I'll get one in Moscow. Do you think that that's okay? I don't think it's okay. But whatever. What's up, Hala? How you doing? Did I pin that link? If anybody wants it, hit the link, yo. There you go. They're just hedging their bets like it's the Super Bowl. By the way, are you guys going like a heads, tails? Or do you guys believe in like the whole like, the score's going to be like a touchdown first or like a safety or field goal or a running touchdown or a passing touchdown or... Anyways, this is then... Can a magistrate say, hey, you wrote in here that then the next day you didn't believe, though, that it was connecting? Like, what's that all about? Does that mean it's not accurate? Like, what? So investigators found the 845 did connect to a cell tower that provided service on the 14th, but investigators do not believe that the 8458 phone was in Moscow on that date. And that is all about, I think they're covering their ass to say, hey, we told magistrate that we showed this little flaw here to say that she still gave it to us. That there's flaws and she still gave it to us. So Lana is 18 levels above me. What are we playing? Mario Kart? Hey, Cindy, how are you? Cindy, are you in a tunnel?
I'm not in a tunnel. I'm here.
Okay, now I can hear you. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. No, I wish I had some more video games that I can actually hook up because I still have like the net. No.
Oh, are you listening to me on YouTube?
I'm good. Oh.
Hi, Cindy. Cindy, you want to play a drinking game? Want to play an Idaho4 drinking game? I have Idaho4 trivia for you. You guys want Idaho4 trivia? You want some trivia? Cindy, what are you doing?
Hello. I am listening to a podcast about the Idaho. And
are you doing both?
Delphi, Idaho.
You're doing Delphi? Delphi's a shit show right now.
I did SWAT.
Oh God.
And
Chris
I was like, oh my God. And then when I started listening to your podcast and I heard about I was like, well, I'm just gonna look up Lana Oriani because I really like her. And then I seen like a whole court proceeding with you and like Bella, like in the background. It's like all on YouTube. And I was like, what? What the fuck's going on?
Oh yeah.
And then
that was which one was that?
And stuff. I was like, wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, these people are wild out there.
Famous, eh?
Oh God, yeah. Let me tell you about it. I got
And I was thinking about
I was just in court not too long ago. And I was
well, you were there for Delphi.
I was there for that one too.
Yeah.
No, I got to look at I was showed 3 exhibits of my YouTube channel and I was asked questions if what was it? Oh, I didn't read it, but I played the book Go the Fuck to Sleep by Samuel L. Jackson.
When did you do that? Like how many years ago?
Oh, 2021, I think.
Oh, okay. So I haven't.
Maybe 2022.
Yeah. I just recently started listening to you. And I love it when you do like the Idaho. Oh my God. Like those poor kids. Like,
oh yeah, it's so bad.
I don't know, but how did they get like the DNA on the sheath? Like, I want to see like the body cam when they found the sheath, like the crime scene. That's sure.
There's so many things that the witness has said that they tried to paint as some crazy
I love trivia.
Oh, you do?
Oh,
Okay,
I
here.
love it. Me and my kids used to play Trivial Pursuit all the time. What pissed me off is that I could never get my color like in the pie. Like,
Okay. You can't ever get your what in the where?
you know, like when you're playing Trivial Pursuit, you
That
have
was
to get
funny.
your color into the pie, right? Because you're given these colors and you're given the round thing that you move around. And as you win, you put your little piece of the pie in. And I could never get my pie in.
Okay, here. So I'm gonna show you something. You're gonna play me in a game. Okay, it's called Shut the Box. Have you ever played Shut the Box?
No.
Okay. I'm just gonna have to roll for you though. We're gonna see your mathematical skills here. Oh boy. Okay.
8 on the block.
Let me show you how this works.
What's the ball?
It's called Shut the Box. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. So here. So 6 and 2. See that? So you can either flip up the 8 like
You
that.
look like you were really pissed off.
Or you could do 6 and 2. Wait, what?
Okay,
Have you ever
so
played
how
this?
do you play this? Is it like almost
I'm
like
about to
backgammon?
tell you. I'm about to tell you, girl. Okay. You got this ready?
Okay, well, tell me how to play the game.
Okay, so I'll go first, all right? So I have to shut the box. So I have to get all these numbers down or get as many as I can until I'm done.
Okay.
Ready?
So you just
Okay.
roll the dice. Off and
So,
down.
well,
Oh,
so
you got
it's
six.
so I
Yeah,
have
6 and
6.
1. What does
Well,
that
no,
one
that's what.
mean?
Yeah, 6 and 1.
What is the red? Why is there a
It's
red
just
white?
it's 6 and 1. That's just the way they make the dice. The die. So I can either like
you
drop
blue
down
or
my
am I
7.
red?
What?
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna tell.
I
I'm
would
gonna
do
tell
6
you.
and 1 if I was you. I know how to play this game.
Oh, you do? Okay, so here, go ahead. You do 6 and 1. Ready? 9,
3.
right? No, you
I
want to do
can't see
9.
the other die.
Oh,
But
sorry.
I'll do
Sorry.
3.
Wait, you want to do 3 and what? You would do 9. Ooh, yeah, 10. Ooh, 4. Fuck yeah, 5. Ooh, daddy, look at that.
I love that.
Fuck. 3. So
You're
then
replaying that.
I have to
That's
add up my
fucking
score.
awesome.
And so my score is 9, 8, 17. 17 plus 23, 40.
Hey, I
And
had
so
it too.
that's a horrible roll. Okay.
Okay, 3 and 1.
Okay, you ready? Is your turn. You think you got this?
Yeah, 3 and 1.
Okay, hold on, no.
3 and 1.
Okay, ready? That's your roll now.
Okay, what am I supposed to be getting?
Oh, you got this is yours, 3 and 2. Oh, horrible.
Okay.
What do you want? We'll knock down the 5 for you.
Shut the fuck.
Ooh, 5 and 4. You want to go with the 9? Okay, we'll knock down the 9 for you. 3 and 1.
4.
You want to want to do the 4 or the 3 and you want to do 4? Okay. Oh yeah, there you go. Like that one. I gave you. That's a badass 10. There you go. Play craps. Ooh. Yep, you got 3 and 2. Nice. Good job.
You just cheated.
Oh, you got 6. Nice job. You're still alive. Oh, I'll redo that roll.
7.
Oh, slap
It
it.
was a 6.
5. So that's a crap out. So, but
That is cheating.
nice. Good job. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming up here,
doesn't
Cindy.
matter. Lana said, "Oh, the red doesn't matter."
Yeah, you rock.
Thank you.
You rock. I appreciate you for coming up here. Cindy, you're gonna chug some beers tonight? Are you going to bed?
Well, I can't do 3 and 2.
Wait. Cindy.
There's no 3 and there's no 2, and I can't do a 5. There's a 1, 7, 8, 11, and 12.
Oh shit. Cindy, you're
Maybe
fucking me up.
69.
Okay, we'll put that one up there. The house always wins, Cindy. Look at this.
68.
Cindy, do you play right, left, center? Cindy, you better have yourself
I'm
a
all
good
the
night.
way, baby.
I'm gonna bring up toes. Have a good night, Cindy.
Oh, you got 199 from Dennis. Fire medic.
Thank you, Cindy. Hey there, toes. What's up? What's good?
Hey, sweet Lana, how you doing?
Oh, just chilling over here.
Yeah,
You want to take a stab? You want to play around here? I'll let you go.
No, I have like the most complex mind. I was trying to figure out what you were doing and I couldn't figure out, and I don't want to embarrass myself.
Oh no, here I'll go first. So like you just roll the dice, and
Okay.
so see how it's like 5 and 1. So I can either close the 6 out, or I can go like 5 and 1. And you're trying to close all the numbers out before your roll's done.
Okay,
But-
I'll give it a poke.
Okay, you give it a poke. Here you go. So you have 7. You could either do you could do 5 and 2. You could do 6 and 1. You could do 7.
Okay. Oh, so I get to choose which numbers to close out?
Yeah.
How about 6 and 1?
All right, 6 and 1. Okay. Ooh, 7 again. So you got 2 and 5, 4 and 3, or 7.
Okay. Uh-oh, so 2 7s back to back.
Yeah, you should be playing crap.
I know, huh? The casino's right down the street. We would do pretty good tonight.
Right. So what's up about Colbert? What do you think?
Once again, I can't say it enough, and I know you've heard it from me before, but like the whole Kohlberger community should like bow down to you for what you did on December 20th. Honestly, in my opinion. And I noticed
what I do on December 20th.
When you dropped the Dylan video, her second bedroom. I mean the bedroom.
Did you like that one?
I did. It's so important. It's one of the most important things with this case. Really.
Yeah,
and I know
they were lying.
I almost feel like you don't even realize how important it is, but maybe you do, and you're just like really humble.
I try to be.
Yeah. Okay. Did you did you enjoy yourself in Idaho?
Oh fuck. When I wasn't getting swatted, yeah.
Yeah. I've been working on my.
I just don't like. I mean, I just want to go there, do whatever. Like, I just don't need no problems, man. I'm just like, this is crazy, you know.
It's changed my life. Like I've gone through so much hell with Idaho. I live in Arkansas now, and I'm in so much of a better place to be. But
did you live in Idaho before?
I'm from Spokane, and I actually I owned a transmission business in Coeur d'Alene. So.
Oh, you did? So do you know Brian Drake?
No, but I know the area. A lot of those houses in that area, I built a lot of those first houses in that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Coeur d'Alene, were you by the water over there, or were you like down more?
All the way
Like,
from the Canadian border to Moscow. I'm that whole region, even where Twiz is at in Pullman on any given
you would go up
day.
to like Bonner's Ferry up to like is that how you would go to Canada?
Yeah, or I'd go in through Kettle
95?
Falls. It just depends if I
Okay.
was coming from Spokane or from Coeur d'Alene, because my shop, I would deliver transmissions throughout that whole entire region. It just really depended on which route I was taking.
Okay. I'm a Gonzaga fan, so
Go Zags.
yeah. Yeah, I think Mark's awesome.
He is, and just hopefully one day they can clinch it.
I know. I want him to win so bad.
I've watched that area go from like nothing to like when you go there now, it's just like its own little world, and around the Gonzaga area. And,
I'm trying to pull up. I think I have it here. One of my videos. You said, let's see, the Dylan one. So let me look and see. I have a couple of those. Okay, here. This is an intro I did for Dylan. Yeah, like this one, where we like broke down all of like their.
this one. This changed the whole narrative. I know you sent them scrambling when they saw this. They were like, "What the fuck are we?"
Do you know how much? Do you know how much shit I got from the people that are like, I got stuff that was like, "Oh my god, yeah," and then there's other people that were just like,
"It's my job to determine them."
Fucking lying or something. And you know what's crazy is all those people in Moscow though that were friends, they all knew that where Dylan's bedroom was. So those are the people that knew that they're like, that's what Dave said. Dave was like, we all knew that, and when you come out and say it, it was just like we didn't realize that it was like a secret.
Yeah, you kind of almost just stole the words out of my mouth, because in retrospect, I was thinking how odd that like a whole bunch of friends didn't just come out public and be like, no, Dylan sleeps on the second floor, but that just goes to show how much of a chokehold. And
yeah, like how did that not get out?
Right.
Yeah.
This video
actually,
here,
it's wild if you think about it, that like they're always on social media, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other thing I can't believe that has never surfaced, to be honest, is that day, if I was to go over, like when you would hear about something like this, like I'm gonna show up over in that area and like be like on my device and be like recording. Like I'm gonna go over by the house and I'm gonna be like outside, like I'm gonna be taking, you know what I mean? I'm gonna like, did you hear about this? Like, wait, what? I would have got in my car and drove over to the area.
Right.
And you don't see like nobody was like, we don't even.
Well,
I don't want people to think like conspiracy wise, but like, trust me, there was people that were dead, murdered. Like, I'm just shocked that we didn't see the ambulance. And it's not because there was no bodies in there. Like, I'm telling you, I promise you, there's bodies in there.
Well, yeah, and to be honest, that's what caught my attention about this case more than anything, is that the media wasn't presenting pictures of Brian Koberger or the assailant at that time, or the perpetrators, because Cage, Q6 News, KXLY, Crim News, they all take pride in working unilaterally with the police departments there. And I know for a fact, because like I mentioned, when I owned my transmission business, and this is back in like 2006, my co-owner, he would be able to tell you my whole route from when I left in Spokane Valley to when I arrived at the shop in Coeur d'Alene. He'd be like, oh, I saw that you were following really close to that red car on the freeway, because he would monitor the cameras, on the freeways there.
Oh, okay. It's like called like the 511, or what's it like?
Right. It's like back then it was on a community channel.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure now they have their own. It's like probably WDOT or even Idaho Department of Transportation, but they're super lying when they say that they don't save footage, because we all know that anything that's uploaded to the internet is saved regardless if you like it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, it was when I heard Payne testify and saying that he doesn't know what these businesses are, and he they collected footage from businesses, and he's acting like he doesn't know what these businesses are. I mean,
it's all
that's
lies.
just wild. That's just wild.
It is. Like, they know that town. They know that town. I haven't lived there in like 10, 12 years, and I can tell you everything that's in that town. And for him to be like, oh, I don't know where this is, or I don't know where that is, it's like he's not going to be able to use that when Real Deal Court goes into effect here. That, all them I don't knows and I'm not sure, that's not going to cut it.
Well, I think they I think they limited their scope. I think that they really kind of made some big mistakes in that suppression hearing. I mean, you can't come out saying now that you know all this stuff. Like, it's just, you didn't, but you didn't know any of this stuff back then. So when did you become aware? You know what I mean? Like, those are the questions that are going to start coming up because they've limited their scope. I just feel like that they totally.
Yeah, they they didn't expect all these eyes to descend upon Moscow. Whoever committed this crime, they thought it was just going to get swept under the rug and, back to business. But no, we all smell a rat in Denmark. It's like something ain't right here, and we all see it.
Well, I personally think that even if Brian is involved, that there's more people. I mean, how's there blood? How's there blood in that house and it's not from somebody that you're telling me that house is that dirty that they just had blood from, God knows when on a.
Right. And why wasn't that investigated first before some invisible DNA that you can't even see with your eye? Like,
well, I mean, I don't necessarily say that if it was first or whatnot, but how it wouldn't be just as valuable, because you would be thinking that blood would actually belong to the person that had the sheath.
Yeah, it's
what I'm saying. So there might be a way that you would think that would be logic to me, that person's blood on the hand, like the railing, would be from the person that was using the knife because they cut themselves.
Yeah.
So why you wouldn't be, and then when you find out that it's not, then if I'm investigating a case, I'm like, wait a second. Like, we're just gonna, I would say no, those, I think that's just as important, because
yeah, I would have ran that.
It's not one person, or at least let's find out what it is. Or how do we know that it wasn't another victim and that person actually got the hell out of there and they actually survived?
I would have ran that through more of a process of the IGG than.
Yeah, if you're going to do that with the sheath, why wouldn't you do IGG with all of it?
Right, exactly, because that's actual tangible evidence. You can see blood. It just doesn't make any sense.
I just would think that to have parents listen to the fact that there's blood from other people and you just don't even care, or you've deemed it not important. I'd have a problem with that if I was a parent. I mean, I am a parent, but I'm saying if that was my kid, I'd have a huge problem with that, because I would want to know, well, how have you ruled out that it could be more than one person?
Yeah. And, I saw a video of Heather Fitzgerald, and not trying to big up another creator, but I did see a really important video of hers about a week ago when it was showing the demolition crew tearing down the house. And I didn't notice until that video that they had already stripped the drywall away from the inside of the stairwell of that house. And it just makes me think that it must have been a pretty brutal crime scene in that stairwell as well, in order for them to tear down the drywall of the stairwell before they demolition the house. If you get a chance, watch demolition, and you'll notice when they tear off the roof and when it exposes the inside of the house, the drywall on the lower half of the whole entire stairwell going up to our, where we can visibly see it, maybe about 3 or 4 feet high, is all missing. And that's just that's really interesting. And that's after the fact, now knowing that there was blood on the handrail, it just makes you think there must have been more going on in that stairwell.
Well, I think what's interesting is the, now hearing with this past hearing, that somebody was like, according to Dylan, I thought it was like Kaylee running up and down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, sweet Lana.
I mean, I just don't think that anybody's blood should be anywhere out of like Kaylee and Maddie if they were just killed in that room. The transfer of it could possibly be like, I mean, after you stab people in a room and you're swinging around a knife when you're running down the stairs, it's gonna like go up on the wall. You know what I mean?
It's gonna go everywhere. I'm not to be graphic, but I saw a video a couple months ago of a dude that like stabbed up a cop, and I mean, like the blood was squirting out of this dude's body like an automatic water gun. So I could only imagine with like 4 other people, Xana losing her fingers, and that. Yeah, it must have been horrific up in there.
I don't know how, like, when you have juries that say that they can't like wrap their head around stuff, how is a jury going to wrap their head around the fact that you want to put a girl's bedroom literally right next to the stairwell to go like right upstairs, right? And so you're going to put somebody right there, and you don't think that somebody that came in there just to like kill a bunch of people just for the fuck of it. And this person, Dylan, is opening, closing her door.
Yeah.
And she just somehow miraculously doesn't get, you know,
killed. There's about 4 reasons.
She needs to go play the lottery. I mean, that's some.
She should be locked up. Really, she should be locked up. I'm for real. Like, especially after hearing last week's hearings. Like,
I think that they were. I think that they were fucking fucked up. Like, they're drunk, they're high, they're kids partying, and I think that if she was even there, she was out of it. You know, her saying I heard this or I heard that, she didn't hear shit because they were going, like, you know. And then how do we know that Dylan says, if she says, oh yeah, I mean, I slept upstairs at first, but then I went downstairs, I slept with, you know, Bethany. And so I'm really curious to hear that because I can only, like, if they're
with the intoxication, it kind of overrides. I mean, with the adrenaline.
Have you've seen the way these people? You've seen the way they party, right?
Yeah.
You've seen the way they party hard. I mean, these aren't girls. These remind me of girls that are like college athlete type girls that are. I mean, they are chugging their wine. This isn't like they're getting fucking blasted. And I have nothing. Hey, do it, live it up, man. It's college. But when people are doing that and you're passing out, I mean, when you're passed out, but I think these text messages are gonna be really, really interesting. I want to hear their version of like, oh, that they were up texting about what was going on and what they were seeing and hearing. Then, if that's the case, we might want to talk about some charges there because.
Yeah, you can't be in shock and texting at the same time. You can't be in shock and open up the door 3 times.
Yeah, that you're not in front. Yeah, that's just.
But
that's not Dylan. That's where I think Dylan and these and Bethany are going to say, like, listen, you guys, we didn't. I know I watched these assholes write this shit. They weren't sitting next to a cop when they wrote that PCA. Dylan and Bethany they have nothing to do with what those police decided to do with their words. And that's where Dylan and Bethany, if they want to speak on it and say, yeah, dude, I didn't say that to the cops.
Yeah.
They fucking said all this shit. And I didn't say that. Yes, here's my interviews. Look at them. I didn't say I was frozen and blah, blah.
And why
didn't who I saw that night? There was tons of people that I saw. And somebody did have a mask on, but that was, you know, they all fucking have masks on with each other. They're always playing stupid games with each other. They're always messing with each other. They have knives. It's a really weird thing. Like, usually people get slutty for Halloween. Idaho girls are getting bloody and serial killer-ish. Like, it's really weird.
And it just makes you wonder, like,
Halloween you get slutty, and they're like doing.
Why didn't they come out like publicly and correct things before everything was fully like gagged? You know, you would just think that, like, if these were really my close friends, and I have a perception of what happened, and then the media or the police come out and say this. Like, we have too many social media tools at our access where you can go out and be like, no, that is not what I said.
Listen, those girls are not, they're not going to go against the grain with, I think that they were, if you don't think they were kind of threatened, I'm going to say threatened, but those people that were probably interviewing them were maybe a little accusatory. Like, how did you not hear something? Like, okay, come on, 4 people are like, they were all stabbed to death multiple times. Nobody was screaming in there.
Yeah, it's just that crime scene was controlled, and it is what it is, and the truth will come out. Transparency cures speculation, and
let's hope.
Yeah, well, I feel like I consumed too much of your time.
Oh, you rock! We always appreciate you. We love when you're hanging around. So, thanks for popping on.
No, thank you, and it's a pleasure to be up here with you. You're a rock star.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, well, you have a good night. I love you.
Okay, you too, hon. Love you back, buddy. Oh, he's a good dude. Thank you there, Toes. If any of the mods are in here, drop his channel link. I'm always bad about that. I'm always in my own world, guys. Trust me, it's not a personal thing. I'm just like, blah, blah, blah. La da da. Cindy, were you drinking tonight, Cindy? Cindy was getting... Oh, there's Boston. Boston, what's good? What have you been doing? You like this late night chat? Yeah, one of the documents that came out here, I'll print one of them. It was Brian and his family's medical and mental health, and I'm like, oh God, here we go. Let's see. Oh, I think it's this one. Oh, wait, here, protective order. Got it. Okay, have you guys seen this? I mean, maybe this is not new. I swear it's new. Have you guys seen this one right here? That this protective order shall govern the designation, disclosure, and use of medical and mental health records of the defendant and his family members disclosed to the state by the defense. Is this new for you guys? And I go through docs all the time. I'll make this bigger though. Is it new? In this protective order, the term protected information shall mean that medical and mental health records of the defendant and his family members disclosed by the defense outlined in Exhibit A to their first supplemental response and discovery. Did you guys get that? Okay, yeah, then this isn't. So this was when the defense had to, give their first supplemental response to discovery that was asked by the state. Access shall be limited to direct review by the prosecuting attorneys assigned to this case, and any further dissemination of the referenced protected information shall be prohibited other than to the extent necessary for the prosecuting attorneys to prepare for court. So not only did they want the defendant's medical and mental health records, but also his family members. So that's, I mean, I think that's pretty interesting. 2025, one in the medical records, mental health. And it's only for anything that has to do with preparing for, hearings, trial, and sentencing, further stipulation of the parties or order of the court. The reference protected information shall not be talked about or any specifics given during court proceedings, including hearings, trial, and sentencing, unless specifically agreed upon. The prosecuting attorneys shall not produce any of the protected information to any unauthorized person. It shall be the duty and the responsibility of the assigned prosecuting attorneys to ensure that documents or things containing protected information subject to their control shall at all times be kept in a safe and secure fashion to ensure that such information is not disclosed. Now, I can tell you, if Hitler is going to start doing this, I'm telling you, this whole case is going to become unsealed. If all of this stuff, once this happened, I mean, the first thing that he unseals is a stipulated motion to see, like, that they agreed upon to seal this. It just has to do with the fact that you went after the defendant's medical records and the family's medical and mental health records. So we don't get any of the information. It's just that this was something they were seeking. So that's all. I'm cool with, tell me what people were seeking, and I'll tell you a lot about what they're going after it for. So give me this information. So I agree. It should be unsealed. 99% of the things that have been filed in this case should be unsealed. So, but yeah. But that's it. It was right here. Basically number 1, that this protective order shall govern, and it has to do with the use of the medical and mental health records of the defendant and his family members. So I'm guessing his sister's mom and dad. So I don't know. They're going to try to use something in there, but whatever. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. On 125, there's another. That one's not coming up, which is weird. They extended the motion limine deadlines. They, let's see, where's the exhibit? This is from yesterday. I'll zoom in. Okay. Oopsies. These are the other, so the IgG genetic information suppression that we didn't get to see. The exhibits were here. The defendant's exhibits were email between Gamut and Mooney, and that was for contact for the FBI genealogy. I don't think that's how you spell that, is it? Arizona, so defendant exhibit A is Arizona versus Mitchum opinion from Court of Appeals. I was looking into that. Defendant's exhibit 26 was sealed letters. So sealed letters, like multiple letters between Latah County Prosecuting Attorney's Office and the FBI. Remember I told you that the prosecuting attorney's office was always calling the shots with the IgG? It's because it's It's their protocol. That's why I'm sorry, but Ashley Jennings and Bill Thompson are fucking witnesses in that. I don't care what anybody says. Somebody else should be prosecuting this case. Then you have the Department of Justice intern policy, and the state's exhibit was Colorado versus Phillips. Order denying motion to suppress familial DNA. Sir, what is this word? Search and fruit thereof. That is Colorado versus Phillips. Arizona versus Mitchum opinion from Court of Appeals. Huh. Then you know what? Love you, Lana. Thanks for all your hard work. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Holy. Lana, where can I send you a document? Oh, Boston, you could share if you could share my email. How can I send you a document from the Pennsylvania State Police? Oh, God. I don't know if I want a document from them. It's the mind challenge at Gmail. No, they collected a lot from his parents, including firearms. I knew they had firearms, gloves, knives, multiple electronic devices, and more. I have it. But yeah, you can send it. Sorry I didn't see that, Dennis. I'm sorry. Have you seen the list of seized property? Sorry about that, buddy. I don't know if you're still in here. Thank you so much for the support, Dennis. Appreciate that. Sorry I missed those. I'm going to read something about that case. Hold on one second. I'll pull it up for you guys, though. I should be calling it a night and going to bed. What time is it? 11:44. Ah, yeah, it's late. Oh, thank you, Dennis. I think I just got that letter or whatever you sent. Here we go. Colorado Supreme Court. Oh, boy. I love a good downloaded PDF. 29 pages. God, okay. Do you guys want to see it? Here's some of it. In a pretrial motion, the defendant sought to suppress his statement at a police station and the handgun recovered during a search of his car. The trial court denied both requests, and following a conviction, the defendant appealed the two rulings. However, on appeal, the defendant raised a new argument with respect to each evidentiary item. A division of the Court of Appeals denied him relief, ruling that he had waived the right to advance the unpreserved. The Supreme Court agrees. Wait, can this possibly be the right case? There's no way. Oh, hold on. There's no way this is this case. Yeah, no. Hold on. Copy that. Roger that. Hey, Boston, how's that Sebastian Rogers case, man? I can't. It's so hard to cover kids' cases. They really bother me. Damn it. Is it a 2019 case? Is this the right case? Gifted 5 memberships. Woo! Moon. Free Karen Reed, Oregon Ducks. What's up? Dennis, thank you so much for your super chat. Sorry if I missed it earlier. Aw. Yeah, there's nothing to talk about, to be honest. Yeah, it's I just can't believe that a kid just doesn't walk out of their house in the middle of the night and not grilling the parents. I mean, what the fuck? Crazy. Ellen Greenberg parent got some justice today. Better than the justice they had. Yeah, are they going to be able to have that trial next week? There's a civil case, isn't it? Anybody that thinks that she stabbed herself is absolutely they got to be high as a kite. This cannot be the case. We agree that division of the Phillips failed. Let me see. I'm tired. I don't know if this is the one. This cannot be the one. This cannot be the one. Yeah, somebody was asking me, oh, the Greenberg settled for undisclosed amount. So do you think they're going to keep it? Is it sealed no matter what? Did they sign like an agreement? I'd say, fuck your money. We're going to trial. This is about getting justice for my kid. But didn't they say that they're going to allow them to like re-examine the medical findings? They just need that. They just need the person that did the autopsy, the ME, to label it. Just label it suspicious. Just label it. It cannot label it a suicide. You can't win a case. You cannot prosecute it. Alrighty, let me see. I don't even know how to take that off there. I thought they reopened it and then they closed it. I don't know. It's just, it keeps going back and forth. It's wild if you ask me. That case should definitely go in front of a jury. Her boyfriend had sweatpants on and then he had shorts on. That's what I took away from the one interview with one of the firefighters or first responders. I think he was a firefighter. Maybe he was a medic. Actually, he might have been a medic. All right, we'll try this one. Arizona versus. I think the Franks is going to come back at the by the end of either this week or next week. He doesn't waste, he doesn't fuck around, Hippler. Okay, here we go. Wow. An Arizona Court of Appeals judge ruled this week that the critical DNA evidence can be used in the trial of a man accused of killing a Scottsdale woman in 2015. Court reverses ruling rejecting DNA evidence in trial for 2015. Let's find out about it. This has piqued my interest. I'll share with you guys. No, fuck that. This one. All right, so the state appeals from the Superior Court order suppressing Mitchum's DNA profile. The state argues that developing a DNA profile from blood lawfully in its possession does not constitute a search under the Fourth Amendment. In the alternative, the state argues that under the circumstances, the use of Mitchum's DNA profile is permitted by an exception to the warrant requirement. We agree with the state that creating a DNA profile from a lawfully held blood sample does not violate the Fourth Amendment. But here, the state's possession was no longer lawful because the state acquired the blood through consent, and developing a DNA profile from it exceeded the scope of that consent. Oh, hell's bells. I gotta print this. Interesting. Still, the Superior Court erred by suppressing Mitchum's DNA profile because one probable cause supported his arrest even without the impermissible DNA match that allowed the state to obtain a buccal swab and develop a DNA profile. And two, once Mitchum pled guilty to other felony charges, the profile was properly in the state's possession. Thus, we reverse the suppression order and remand for further proceedings. What is going on? Facts. In February of 2015, a woman was found dead in her home. Oh, shit. What's this thing doing? Sorry about that. Okay, in February 2015, a woman was found dead in her home, lying nude in a pool of blood. The victim had sustained several injuries, including a large wound on the back of her head, ligature marks around her neck, and severe lacerations. What? Jeez, I can't read this out loud. Oh, my God. The police identified a strong chemical odor throughout the house, chemical burns on the victim, what, and blood smears. Jesus. Based on the evidence, the police concluded that the killer had tried to clean up the crime scene. The police collected biological swabs from the scene and developed an unknown male DNA profile. Police entered the unknown DNA profile into the federal CODIS, but the CODIS database returned no matches, and the murder went unsolved. In 2018, law enforcement performed familiar DNA test on the unknown profile. The test identified an Arizona prison inmate as a close relative of the unknown profile. The police discovered the inmate had two brothers, one living close to the crime scene. As a result, the police began to surveil this brother, the defendant. Let's see. Coincidentally, the police were already familiar with Mitchum. In January of 2015, they arrested Mitchum for a misdemeanor driving under the influence offense. Also, before the familiar DNA test, Mitchum had been charged with a felony narcotics possession offense in 2016 and an aggravated DUI in 2017. Mitchum would later plead guilty to both crimes of those DUIs. During the 2015 DUI arrest, Mitchum consented to have his blood drawn. Police read Mitchum the warning provided by the admin per se implied consent form, which provided that if Mitchum agreed to the blood would be used to determine the alcohol concentration or drug consent. Okay. The warning authorized no other blood testing, and Mitchum was not informed that the police might conduct more tests. Based on the warning, Mitchum consented to a blood draw. The police drew 2 blood vials according to Mitchum's 2015 consent. One vial allowed the police to test for alcohol or drug, and the second allowed Mitchum to test his blood independently. Mitchum and the police officer signed a destruction notice, which stated that if Mitchum did not pursue his opportunity to test within 90 days, his blood sample will have been destroyed and unavailable for reanalysis. The police tested their sample and determined Mitchum was over the legal limit, and he later convicted of a misdemeanor DUI. But the police did not destroy Mitchum's blood sample after the 90 days passed and possessed it 3 years later when they identified that Mitchum might be the long-sought killer. The police, without obtaining a warrant, analyzed the blood from the 2015 DUI consent draw, creating Mitchum's DNA profile. Mitchum's profile matched the unknown DNA at the 2015 murder scene. Okay, I'm so confused here, you guys. Why aren't people just going and getting people's DNA? Like, you have a suspicion about somebody, like, why aren't you just, he discards a cup, he discards something. Like, why? That would piss me off. Like, you don't want a killer to go free, It's like, just... So they used that blood, and it was a match. So the police then sought a search warrant. Now we're gonna get a search warrant requesting authorization to search Mitchum's home and place a GPS tracker on his car. The search warrant affidavit noted that, number one, the police had obtained DNA from the crime scene left by an unknown male source. 2, a familiar DNA test of that profile revealed that the unknown DNA likely belonged to a father, son, or brother of inmate Mark Mitchum. And 3, Ian Mitchum had been identified as Mark Mitchum's brother. The affidavit did not identify Mark Mitchum's other relatives or explain why Ian Mitchum had specifically been selected for investigation. But the addresses of the victim and Ian Mitchum were in the affidavit. The affidavit revealed that Ian Mitchum's blood sample was in the custody of the Scottsdale Police Department from his 2015 DUI arrest, and that a DNA profile from the blood matched the unknown profile from the crime scene. Did they put that in there? The court approved the search warrant. Mitchum was later arrested and a buccal swab was taken as part of a routine booking procedure. The grand jury charged Mitchum with first-degree murder, second-degree burglary, and sexual assault. Mitchum moved pretrial to suppress the DNA evidence from his 2015 DUI blood draw and the subsequent DNA buccal swab from his arrest. He argued that the extraction and creation of a DNA profile from a consensual blood draw was an unreasonable search under the Fourth Amendment because it, quote unquote, went far beyond the scope of what was permitted by his prior consent in the unrelated DUI traffic stop. He added that the DNA profile from his arrest buccal swab was the fruit of the original illegal search. Well, duh, of course it was. Yes. The Superior Court held an evidentiary hearing and granted the suppression motion. The court reasoned that though the police, quote unquote, may have been able to secure a warrant for Mitchum's DNA through further diligent investigation, exactly, like what the fuck, the decision not to obtain a warrant was at least a reckless violation. The court also found it, quote unquote, troubling that the state essentially asserts that it has the unfettered ability to conduct subsequent searches of items held in custody for unrelated reasons. The court also suppressed Mitchum's DNA profile from the arrest and any profile resulting from his convictions. Jeez. In the unrelated narcotics and aggravated DUI cases. Because the state intended to appeal, the Superior Court vacated the trial and stayed the proceedings. The state appealed, and we have jurisdiction under Article 6. The state challenges the Superior Court's application of the exclusionary rule to suppress the DNA evidence extracted from Mitchum's 2015 consensual blood draw. First, the state argues that there was no Fourth Amendment violation because developing a DNA profile from lawfully obtained evidence is not a second search. Second, the state argues that even if there were a Fourth Amendment violation, Mitchum's DNA profile should not have been suppressed because several exceptions applied. We review a court's factual findings on a motion to suppress. The Fourth Amendment provides that the right of the people to the secure person knows purpose. No person shall be disturbed. Yep. Traditionally, courts viewed search and seizure cases through a lens of common law trespass, considering whether the state obtained information by physically intruding on a constitutional protected area. But this narrow approach has since been expanded because the Fourth Amendment protects people, not places. Remember? It's a big it applies when an individual reasonably seeks to preserve something as private. That's Carpenter. God, it's going to be interesting. A search occurs when an expectation of privacy that society is prepared to consider reasonable is infringed. United States versus Jacobson. All right, well, I suggest you guys go ahead and read the rest. I could sit here and read to you. But damn. See, I just think this is just total bullshit, though. because like just do it the right way. Like, why would you ever want this guy to go free, you know? Oh, where is paper jam? All right, well, I just want to say thank you to all the mods. Thank you for the subscribers, members, lurkers. You guys rock. I'm going to finish this up, reading to myself. And I'll be back with you guys tomorrow night. Peace out, Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts.